Hello, dear ones. It's Alice. I am of the stars. Happy holidays to everyone. I've had on my mind for a while talking a little about overlighting spirits in the earth and in the universe and the differences between different religions with regard to that. And then I'd like to refer y'all to my website in that context. As you may know, my main point of reference is Christianity, because that's the religion that I was born into. So I asked Google AI, what is the main difference between Christianity and primitive religions, so that I could get close to the answer to this. And Google AI said Christianity believes in one God who is understood as a trinity of three persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And primitive religions can be polytheistic with many gods, or they can be animistic with spirits in nature. So we have three possibilities here. We have God, just God. Then we have many gods, as in Roman times, or we have spirits in nature, as in Shinto, for instance. I'd like to compare that with my own point of view about overlighting spirits on earth. I believe that there is one supreme being who is God. There's God, and then there are angels and demons, and also there are saints that can be prayed to. And those saints may be alive, or they may have passed on and be in heaven, close to God, one presumes, and so therefore influential in interceding with God. The same is said of Mother Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ, that we can pray to her and that she will be helping us in our requests to God. God, angels, demons, and saints, in addition to the human realm. And this fits in a little with these other religions that I'm going to talk about. I don't have a lot to say about polytheistic religions, such as Greek and Roman religions, and I think they're well documented, so I'm going to talk a little about animistic religions and folklore, ideas about overlighting spirits. In folklore, especially in the esoteric lore, there's mention of beings called devas, which might be a little like the angelic realm in Christianity. Devas of all sorts of things, like devas of cities, devas of forests, devas of mountains, devas of water, and so forth. Very impressive overlighting spirits called devas. I have a favorite chant that I do. It's from the Far East, and it goes like this: Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. And it means, to me it means that my overlighting spirit, my deva, is God consciousness. So that's another take on devas, don't you think? There are devas of various natural phenomena. There are devas of human institutions, such as cities. There are devas for people in particular, overlighting spirits that may be very high or very low. But we'll be talking about that in a minute. Beneath the devas, as I understand it, the devas that look after everything on earth, the devas that God assigns to take care of matters. His executive vice presidents here on earth are devas. And beneath these devas are many workers. For instance, in the old folklore, there are light globes which are considered to be sentient. Light globes or light orbs. Then we have nature elementals, such as elemental spirits of the air, of earth, of fire, of water. I'm sure you've heard of these. They're depicted in literature too, and in fine art. Then we have nature spirits, which are the topic of much folklore worldwide. For instance, we have brownies, dwarves, elves, fairies, fauns, gnomes, orcs, tree spirits or dryads, and trolls, and those are just a few. Now, there are other beings that are purported to exist on Earth in planes other than the physical. For instance, some say there are dragons. People speak of elementaries or astral shells that might be left after a person passes on. People speak of ghosts. Then there are the jinn, the ifrits, the genies, and there are thought forms, very simple, artificial elementals that are created by human beings. As I understand it, these could be thought of as God's executive vice presidents, of which there are quite a few here on Earth, the devas. And in my case, God consciousness is my deva. It's more of an energy. It's an energy for sure that overlights me. Then the devas have their subordinates, and those are many nature elementals, nature spirits, and so on. The planets and the sun and the far constellations, they are what are termed star beings, which bring their blessings, in some cases, to Earth. So these star beings are not angels. These star beings overlight various beings on Earth. Some of the star beings have what you might call Christed energy, Christ consciousness energy, and others, they say, do not have that energy. Some of these beings may be said to overlight other species, non-human species on Earth, for instance. And I'm just reading this because this part I'm not too sure of. Amongst the far constellations, it could be there are insectian, that is to do with insects, overlighting spirits emanating from Alpha Centauri. In the Orion group, it could be there are reptilian star beings that overlight the reptiles of Earth, including Dinosaurian, Draconian, and Lizardian, amongst others. That means dinosaur, now extinct, dragon, I don't know, maybe it exists, and lizards, amongst others. Then from Sirius, they say there are reptilian hybrids that may overlight the reptilian hybrids of Earth. Then the Nephilim, the Anunnaki. There may be types of humans that are hybrids of this nature. Not quite human, not quite other than human, but overlit, say, by those overlighting spirits of Sirius that are of that nature, you see? Moving on to the planets of our star system, they also have star beings that overlight various beings here on Earth. For instance, Jupiter has overlighting spirits for the Jupiterian subterranean beings. Maldek, now the asteroid belt has sent Maldekians to Earth. Mars, the Martians, the elder race that inhabit our colons and are existing very successfully as bacteria all over Earth. Saturn, the Saturnians, Venus, the Venusians, and those beings are close to human beings. They are often overlighting human beings. For instance, blue avian star beings that overlight some human beings and also the birds of Earth. The Hathors that are especially important to the people of Earth. Sekhmet, the lion beings that offer overlighting energy to people who must have courage and also are good for feline species. So Christianity has theories about angels and demons that to some extent parallel my notions about overlighting spirits emanating from other parts of the universe. Even were there no such overlighting spirits emanating from elsewhere, were a new species to be developed on Earth, God would have to come up with a deva to overlight that species. So they may be devas specific to Earth, or they may be devas, part of whose energy comes from beings that have developed in the far constellations or on other planets, and which now exist on Earth, or which are similar to species that have been created on Earth. You know, Christianity has this notion there is such a thing as Satan. More so today than in the Bible. Many people believe that there's such a thing as Satan. They think of Satan sometimes as a being of equal strength with God who contends with God over the universe, and they think he might be pretty mean and very tough, and maybe he will win, right? But that's not my point of view of Satan at all. I believe that Satan is a generalization of those overlighting spirits here on Earth that overlight beings that are enemies of human beings. For instance, sharks. Sharks are just not friends of human beings. So a Sharkian overlighting spirit would be one aspect of what Christianity calls Satan. And we have Antian overlighting spirits. In general, there are good and bad things about ants. And one of the worst things is they'd like to take over Earth. So in some ways, ants are the enemies of human beings and could be considered an aspect of Satan. But in my work, they're considered to be overlit by Antian overlighting spirits. Have I explained well enough? Let's see. How about mountain lions is just too controversial of a topic, because here they are eating people and eating their prized livestock and so forth, and yet there are people that say they're a wonderful addition to the natural order and are needed to keep other types of animals in balance in the ecosystem. But just taking the thought that mountain lions like to eat hikers such as myself, I would be inclined to say there's an aspect of mountain lions and other large predators of human beings that has reminiscence of satanic energy that is the enemy of humankind, you see. In my work, I call them not Satan, but the overlighting spirits or devas of mountain lions. Does that make sense to you? So we have these possibilities according to human folklore. In modern Christianity, we concentrate on one God with an angelic realm and a demonic realm. In the ancient animistic religions, they concentrated on the forces of nature, and they spent a lot of time working with curses and blessings that were the opposite of curses, and curse reversals and so forth, much in the manner that there are many overlighting spirits on Earth that contend with each other through their influence on the natural beings of Earth. But I think it adds a little to understand that there's one God in charge of this whole display, you see. And in my case, I pick something beyond personality as that God. I pick God consciousness. Some people say Christ consciousness or cosmic consciousness. And all these things are far, far beyond the notion of primitive religions with regard to the underlings of God that look after Earth. I'm very grateful that they are there, and they're a lot of fun to work with, you know. But the best thing, the greatest thing, is God consciousness. That is the thing that we strive for, because once we embody that as our overlighting spirit, nothing can harm us. Nothing can sway us. Nothing can upset us. We exist on a level far, far above mundane matters. We refer to that level all the time. A lot of people talk about the importance of cosmology, of a cosmological framework to a person's continued existence, to have a feeling that there's more to the world than what we see creates a context that makes suffering logical and important to our existence here on earth, for instance. So we can overcome hardship. We can look forward with hope to a future that will be better. And we can see beyond physical life to a spiritual realm that will support and sustain us as an awareness, as pure awareness after we pass on. Those understandings of life help us to persevere, because hardship is just everywhere here on earth, is it not? It's good to have a positive attitude. That's good for our immune system, to have a positive attitude. But who can have a positive attitude in the face of such adversity without a very strong cosmological basis? So I leave it to you. Take a look at your own notions. Who's in charge of this whole thing? Is it an even-Steven warfare situation between God and the devil? Is it God in charge of everything? Do you have that notion? With a lot of wonderful beings working for him to create the duality play? Do you believe there's nothing but the physical body? And how does that affect your health and your emotional outlook and your prospect for a long life? This is something to read about in Google AI. Well, that's all for now. God bless you all, keep you safe, and be with you through all your days in love, light, and joy. This is Alice B. Clagett. I am of the stars, and so are you. See you at my wonderful, world-class WordPress website, Awakening with Planet Earth.